First of all, hi to everyone. Myself, Prashant. We are in part 6 of the chapter Historical Background of the Indian Constitution. So let's start. So, Indian Council Act of 1909. This is a very important act. And now, the first point says that it increased size of legislative council in both central and provincial legislative council. So, the size of central legislative council was increased as well as provincial legislative council. So, in central legislative council in CLA, uh, size increased from 16 members to 60 members, right? 60 members. You need to know the number, it is important. And uh, if you're talking about provincial legislative council, so there was no uniformity, no uniformity with respect to with respect to with respect to size of the council, right? You need to know this. The second point says that official majority in Central Legislative Council was maintained, but not in the Provincial Legislative Council. So, official majority was maintained in Central Legislative Council, but not in the Provincial Legislative Council. It was not necessary to maintain official majority in Provincial Legislative Council. Third point says that uh, now members got the powers. Now the members of the Legislative Council got the power to ask supplementary questions and move resolution on the budget. So earlier, members of the council did not had power to move resolution on the budget, but after this act, they got this power. So this is what we needed to know. Now, the fourth point, this is very important point. It says that for the first time, Indian Satyendra Prasad Sinha became the member of Executive Council of Viceroy. So here I would like to stress on something. It is saying Executive Council. Don't confuse it with the Legislative Council because in Legislative Council already through 1861 Act, Indians Association started. Indians were were associated with associated the lawmaking process with the lawmaking process, right? The lawmaking process. So for the first time, Association of Indians in Viceroy's Executive Council. It is saying this. It is saying for the first time, associations of Indians in Viceroy's Executive Council started through this Indian Council Act of 1909. So who was the first person? So first person was Satyendra Prasad Sinha, right? You need to know the name. And first time association of Indians in Viceroy's Executive Council was through this Indian Council Act of 1909, right? Fifth point says that it started communal representation for the first time, and Muslim electorate was set up. So now, what does this Muslim electorate means? So basically, it means that a member of the council was to be elected through Muslim voters only, right? Only Muslim voters, not others. So this is what Muslim electorate means. And you also need to know that first electorate to be formed was Muslim electorate only. Muslim electorate Muslim electorate, first electorate, first electorate in British India, right? British in British India. Later we will see in Government of India Act 1909 there was separate electorate for Indian Christians as well as Europeans and Sikhs. So we will talk about those electorates in Government of India Act 1909, 1919. I beg your pardon. And this act also we can say, or it is even highlighted, not highlighted, we can say that this act legalized communalism, legalized communalism, communalism, communalism. So you need to know this also, that which act legalized communalism in India. So it was Indian Council Act of 1909, right? And here, if you're talking about Satyendra Prasad Sinha, so he was a law member. Law member. One second. He was a law member in Viceroy's Executive Council. Viceroy's Executive Council. Executive Council. So you need to know Satyendra Prasad Sinha was nominated as a law member in Viceroy's Executive Council. Now, this act also brought a separate representation for universities, jamindars, presidency, corporation, etc. So it's like separate representations for these groups were also formed through this Indian Council Act of 1909. You should know that for whom. So for universities, for jamindars, and for presidency corporation, right? Now, this act is also known as Morley Minto Reforms. And why was it called Morley Minto Reforms? We will know the reason clearly from the succeeding points. A second point says that Morley was the then Secretary of State in India, and third point says that Minto was the then Viceroy. So it's clear that since Morley was the Secretary of State and Minto was the Viceroy, that is why after them this act, sorry. So since Morley was the Secretary of State and Minto was the Viceroy, so and that's the reason this act is also known as Morley Minto Reforms. Minto, mm, l- one second. Lord Minto is also known as the father of communal electorate. So, needless to say, since he brought this Indian Council Act 1909, so obviously, and he initiated this communal representation, communal electorate. So, and he legalized communalism. He legalized this this communal electorate. So, obviously, he is called as the father of communal electorate in India. So, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you really learned and you learned something from this video. We will be coming up next with part 7 of this chapter, historical background of the Indian Constitution. And in that, we will discuss Government of India Act 1909, 1919, Government of India Act 1919, and that is a very important act. So we will discuss that act in detail. So again, thank you so much.